Hello my fellow weirdlings, it's Margot, and today I'm starting a new series where I'll continually feature Indigenous women, girls, and two spirits that are currently missing. I'm also taking this opportunity to give a brief overview on the issue of missing and murdered Indigenous women in the United States. If you don't want that information, please skip ahead to the spot titled Benita Long and at least look at the pictures there, just in case you might recognize her. If you're ready to help spread awareness and possibly help reunite a missing family member with their loved ones, keep watching. You may be hearing more about this topic lately, but it certainly isn't a new problem. For generations, Indigenous people have been disappearing at an alarming rate, much higher than the national average. Sadly, these people are often found murdered or never at all, leaving their families and communities with endless questions and unimaginable trauma. One huge hindrance to locating these missing Indigenous people is that these cases usually get very little attention outside of their own communities. Why is that, you may ask? Honestly, in my opinion, it's straight up bigotry. Here are a few quick statistics to give you a better idea of the inequity here and why this has been an emergency for a long time. Indigenous women and girls are murdered at a 10 times higher rate than all other ethnicities. Murder is the third leading cause of death for Indigenous women. More than 4 out of 5 Indigenous women have experienced violence. That's 84.3%. More than half of all Indigenous women experience sexual violence. That's 56.1%. More than half of all Indigenous women have been physically abused by their intimate partners. 55.5%. 48.8% of Indigenous women have been stalked in their lifetime. Indigenous women are 1.7 times more likely to experience violence than Anglo-American white women. The murder rate of Indigenous women is 3 times higher than Anglo-American women. These are some very concerning numbers, and even more concerning is that those are most likely lowball estimates. It's very difficult, if not impossible, to get accurate statistics on disappearances and crimes against Indigenous people due to poor record keeping, underreporting, racial misclassification, and lack of media coverage. For more information on this, check out the nativewomenswilderness.org website. It's very enlightening. FuturesWithoutViolence.org also stated that as of 2016, the National Crime Information Center had reported 5,712 cases of missing American Indian and Alaska Native women and girls, but the U.S. Department of Justice Missing Persons Database had only reported 116 cases. This is due to a long-running lack of communication combined with jurisdictional issues between state, local, federal, and tribal law enforcement. This makes it nearly impossible to even begin the investigative process. They also state that the majority of Indigenous murders are committed by non-Native people on Native-owned land. Today, I'd like to focus on Benita D. Long. Benita is 40 years old. She's 5 feet 3 inches tall and weighs 130 pounds. She has short dark hair, brown eyes, and tattoos on her right and left knuckles and her right forearm. Benita has a scar on her chin and a large burn scar on one of her legs. She's been missing from Toppenish, Washington since March 26 of this year, 2022. She was last seen when a relative dropped her off at the El Corral Motel in Toppenish. She was wearing gray sweatpants and a black hoodie and carrying a black backpack. Her sister has said Benita was in the Yakama area last time she heard from her. A missing person flyer states, Benita's family is extremely worried and is pleading with the community of the Yakama Indian Reservation and beyond to come forward with any information that will lead to her whereabouts. The community has recently held a candlelight vigil in Benita's honor, and it's very obvious Benita is greatly loved and missed by her family and friends. If you have any information at all about Benita Long's disappearance or current location, please call Yakama Nation Tribal Police at 509-865-2933 regarding case number 22-004079. Benita is a member of the Yakama Nation. In researching this case, I saw a lot of area locals mentioning that there are an alarming number of people missing from the Yakama Reservation, even referring to it as an epidemic. Of course, this piqued my curiosity, so I did a little digging. According to the Yakama Herald-Republic, as of March 25, 2022, of the 110 people on the Washington State Patrol's list of missing Indigenous people, 28 have ties to the Yakama Nation or Yakama area of central Washington. Sadly, many of those cases have gone cold. Adding to the challenge is the Yakama Reservation's vast size, part of which is hard to access rugged terrain. As far as I can tell, the Yakama Herald is pretty much the only news source covering most of these disappearances, so I doubt the lack of exposure is helpful either. It's obvious we need to raise far more awareness to this problem. So if you have any sort of platform at all, no matter the size, please get Benita Long's information out there and talk about any other missing person that seems to be falling through the cracks. Every missing person has left behind a life and people who grieve for them. Even if they don't have anybody to love them, they still deserve the same level of care and attention as white suburban Becky down the street. Not every case can make nationwide headlines, but every small voice can extend the reach of information. I'll be uploading a short with Benita's information and making a community post, along with sharing across other social media sites so you can get a closer look. Please share this information if you're able. That's all I have for you today. I hope you'll enjoy this addition to the channel and speak up if you recognize a missing person. Like, subscribe, leave a comment, and bring your friends, family, COVID pod, cult members, invisible friends, or enemies. And if you have a missing persons case you'd like for me to share, please feel free to get in touch. Thanks so much for watching.